Dear Warriors, this is not LeBron James. He is not wearing 23. This is not a man who at 21 years old is going to lead a freaking team whose second best player is Boobie Gibson to an NBA Finals. This is Jonathan Kuminga. This is a guy who you don't want to pay. You have to pay him at the end of the year. You can't afford to pay him and you don't want to pay him. This is not LeBron James. I understand he is 22 years old. I understand he was meant to be a project. Jonathan Kuminga has not played better, has not lived up to even the promise that he was showing as a rookie. I get it. His points per game have gone up from 9.3 to 15.2. I get it. He is a bench player. And in order to go and get Cam Johnson, who is better by a lot than Kuminga, fits better than Kuminga, and in order to get Cam Johnson, you're going to have to give up Kuminga. Who do the Warriors think these people are? Do they still think Wiggins is Maple Jordan? I just saw this right here. It was Kuminga, according to the Warriors front office, just dunking LeBron James young. In fairness, I didn't even see that when I tweeted who the Warriors think Kuminga is. LeBron James. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. They might lose him from nothing in restricted free agency. They can't afford to pay him. They will lose him for nothing. Cam Johnson is 28. He was really old as a rookie. Cam Johnson is not better than 22-year-old Kuminga. Yes, he is. You're Kuminga's going to be an all-star. When the Warriors lose him, he's going to be a 25-point per game scorer. We saw Jordan Poole. We literally saw Jordan Poole. You don't sign role players from the Warriors and expect them to be good. Just like back in the day, you didn't sign role players from the Spurs. You didn't sign them from some of the times from LeBron's teams. You don't sign them now from the Heat. Other than Max Strus, we're seeing what's happening with Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent. You don't sign them from the Heat. You don't sign players from the Warriors. They never get better when they're not in the Warriors system. Heck, we saw James Wiseman. Teams thinking James Wiseman had hope. The Warriors are ruining him. No. Jonathan Kuminga is so average. He is so average. He's not a top 100 player in the NBA. And I stand by that. He shoots 44% from the field and 31% from three. He is old enough to do more than that. And I mean that. 22 is still young. But based on he's Cam Johnson's just better. Cam Johnson's just better. He's just straight up better at basketball. You've got one. If you don't win this year, you have no chance. If you don't win this year, trade Steph. I mean that. You're in the shitter contract-wise. So if you don't win this year, just trade Steph. Because you're not going to trade Steph. You're not going to trade Draymond. You're going to go and try to start tanking with no picks and no future and no real good assets. You're just screwing yourselves. And I made videos about this before, and I'm one of the very first videos in this channel is talking about why the hell the Warriors value Kuminga so high. They're literally trying to make blockbuster trades and are saying they won't trade Wiggins. They're trying to make a blockbuster trade and saying they're not trading Wiggins, Kuminga, Steph, or Draymond. And I'm one, how do you think it's going to work money-wise? They're your three biggest earners. And Kuminga, who is someone who's about to be a restricted free agent. Two, who wants anyone else? They also don't want to trade Podziemski. You don't want to trade Podziemski. You don't want to trade Kuminga, Podziemski. Who else is there that's an asset? You can't trade Buddy Hield, can you? Can they trade Buddy Hield? They might be able to trade Buddy Hield. Who else? Are the Warriors? Do they want to trade the lacrosse player for somebody? Who genuinely are the Warriors willing to trade? So the Warriors are willing. Are they like the Lakers where they just want someone to hand them a player? They just want someone to literally hand them a player. And they got Dennis Schroeder. They fleeced the Nets for Dennis Schroeder. And I'm they absolutely fleeced the Nets for him. And they're still expecting to try and get somebody better. Outside of the quote-unquote 5 that I haven't said, they got Moses Moody, who I'm not joking, I would not trade 2 second rounds for Moses Moody. Moses Moody is playing like the Modi Mooses that Kendrick Perkins talks about. He's shooting a poor percent from the field. He's shooting 42% from the field and 7 points per game. He's old enough now that he's just not going to be good enough. Kuminga is old enough now that he's just not going to be a superstar. Why not? Like, are they trying to trade Pat Spencer? Like Trace Jackson Davis, who's on a steal of a contract? GP the second? Like, GP the second, it has shown that when he leaves the Warriors, he's not as good, and then suddenly he's gone back to the Warriors. How many times, am I right in saying Gary Payton II has left and rejoined the Warriors twice now? Or is it just the once? Like, no, it was just the once. He went to Portland. How long did he last in Portland? Because he signed for a 3-year, $28 million deal with the Portland Trail Blazers on July 6, 2022. And on February the 9th, he was traded back to the Golden State Warriors. So, like, teams should know if you're going to sign GP the second, he's not going to be as good. If you're going to sign Moses Moody, he's going to be out of the league soon if he's not a Warrior. We've seen so many. Like, how many you guys remember how Quinn Cook looked pretty decent with the Warriors, did not look good anywhere else? Heck, Jordan Bell looked pretty good with the Warriors. He was in the rotation for championship teams. The man was out of the league as soon as he was traded. Patrick McCall was getting some burn for the Warriors. I get it, he won a ring in Toronto, but he was out of the league super quickly afterwards. And these teams don't realize it. Warriors playing for the Warriors will inflate everything. Jordan Poole looked competent with the Warriors. And I get it, Jordan Poole is a bucket, but he looked like he could actually be a winning basketball player at the Warriors. And Cam Johnson is someone who has really succeeded in Brooklyn, was good in Phoenix, and is now a much better player than Jonathan Kuminga. And Jonathan Kuminga is the people like he's going to score 25 points per game. It's like, how? When he has all the spacing in the world in Golden State, he's a 31% three-point shooter and 44% shooter from the field. Like, explain to me how he's going to do anything in Brooklyn. Like, they already have a shot chucker in Cam Thomas who's better offensively than him. Schroeder is a better offensive player than Kuminga, and Schroeder couldn't average 25. Like, they're delusional. The Warriors fans are delusional. The Warriors team are delusional. This guy's trade value, considering he's a restricted free agent and he's going to have to get a near max, is, for me, it should be near zero. And the fact you could have gotten Cam Johnson, who greatly helps your chances of winning this year. And you want to say, oh, but like, why does this year matter? Because this is the last chance the Warriors have of winning a ring anytime soon. People talk about how great the Warriors were as a franchise. It was all luck. All luck. They signed, in their draft, they drafted Klay Thompson, Steph. Cool. They tried to trade Steph. The Bucks didn't want them. So it's not like they had this vision for Steph. They wanted to trade the kid. And then, afterwards, they tried to trade Klay Thompson for they tried to trade Klay Thompson for Kevin Love, and it was just Jerry West who said he would quit if they did it. And then they had, obviously, David Lee. They brought in, then Mark Jackson as a coach who was trying to play Draymond Green as a small forward. And then Steve Kerr just said, you know what, we're struggling with this line, let's bring out the the death line of Iggy, or with Harrison Barnes, Iggy, and Draymond as center, and that worked. And obviously Steph Curry became something they could unimaginable. And then because Steph Curry had his injured ankles and he was near negative value, they got him on a steal of a contract. And then CP3 basically had the cap room spikes that he could sign a massive free agency offer, so they could sign KD, and they were never going to lose then. And then, obviously, 2022, Steph Curry had one of the greatest individual postseason performances of all time. The Warriors have not been ran better than all these other teams. They're willing to pay money, and they got lucky. Let's be real. They got lucky, and they think they're going to strike gold twice with a bang average player who other teams are overrating, and you could get a good player in Cam Johnson.